Hello everybody, it's great to be back and it's great to see you again. I finally made it. I finally got myself together. I got my mojo together to do a flosstube update, and I've been looking forward to this for a while, but I've been so busy and, well, you know the excuse, you know the usual story. Running around doing 100 different things, and I really wanted to sit down and do a video to update you on all the progress I've done in at least the last couple of months. I did a stitch with me not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I probably didn't do a flosstube update for probably since the end of May. And so, yeah, I think in 2 months' time, I probably would have got a decent amount of progress now that I can show you. Because sometimes you feel like if you do an update too frequently, you feel like you haven't got much progress to show, or it's not going to be that interesting. So yeah, let's see. So today, I'm going to show you six works in progress that I've actually actively been working on throughout the month of June, and I haven't been taking any number scores or doing any, I'm not doing whip go, and I'm not doing anything like that. I will explain to you how I've sort of been working over the month, but a lot of the time I've just been sort of doing my focus piece and picking one or two others out of the bag that are in my current sort of year, my current rotation at the moment. And then I've got a whole bunch of other ones that I just put away that I'm not touching until next year, because I think in total now I've got, apart from the ones, I mean, forgetting the ones that I've UFO'd, they're all gone, forget those. I've still got, I think it's 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, yeah, 15 or 16 whips that I want to continue working on, but I don't want to continue working on 16 whips all within the same week or month or year, right? Because it's just too overwhelming for me. So what I've done is I've put aside a few of them, and I've got 4 or 5 that I've been picking out of the box that I've been working on. But my main whip, as you know, if you follow me, as you know, my main whip at the moment is Riverwalk Charm. It's my regular sized Heaven and Earth design. I really want to get progress on because I don't want it to take 10 years to finish. So I've been slowly working on that one continuously, at trying to do, my ultimate aim is 200 stitches a day. Some days I haven't been able to achieve that, but for the most part, most days of this month I've been able to pick it out, apart from say 2 or 3 days, and I've been able to get progress on it, because as you know, these big ones that we choose, they take so long to finish that you have to just keep plugging away at them. Otherwise you're just going to be looking at the same thing. You feel like you're going to be looking at the same thing forever, right? As much as you love your project, I don't know, I just feel like it's nice to see that it's building and developing and that you're actually getting somewhere with it. So whilst I enjoy the journey, and I really am, you know, geared towards enjoying the journey and not putting pressure on myself, I'd also like to see a finish at some point during my lifetime, maybe, hopefully. So on with the whips that I have been working on in throughout June. Where are we now? It's the end of July. God, I can't even imagine. The whips that I've been working on for June and most of July. So I'm going to start with my Thomas Kinkade piece, which is called Home for the Holidays, and it's a mini. And as I've mentioned many times before, I only do the mini if I like the mock-up. If I don't like the mock-up, I'm not doing the mini. So funnily enough, this one actually has got some small details, but I found that the actual style of the whip, the style of the design was okay in a mini. For me, it's okay anyway. So, you know, each to their own. Some people have certain preferences. Some people don't mind things being a bit more blurred or pixelated or whatever, and other people really want sharp details. For this particular piece, or for, I think actually for quite a lot of Thomas Kinkade designs, they're really quite beautiful and impressionistic. even without being sharp. So, oh, my screen just went off there for no reason. So, oh yeah, that's another thing. My laptop broke down, so I had to get a new laptop, so that really impeded everything. I couldn't trust doing any recordings or anything, so I had to wait till I got a decent laptop to be able to do a video again. So here we are. Here's a picture, which side? Maybe this side, of the Thomas Kinkade Home for the Holidays mini chart, Heaven and Earth design. And I don't know what percentage I'm up now. I think, oh yes, I hit the 50%. I even passed it. I think I'm about 52, 53% now. And this is where I've got to. So pardon me if the light isn't perfect, but we are over 50%. It's looking really nice. If I go a bit closer, you can see there's a couple of people there just showing up, standing outside the porch there. And I mean, it's kind of really nice impressionistic style. If you look at it from distance, you can clearly see that there's a carriage and there's a dog and there's a horse, and you don't really need the full details for that. It's just got a really nice sort of soft effect to it, and I'm sort of really enjoying working on this one. Hoping that I can finish it by the end of this year, but who knows? That would all depend on how many other times I'm picking up the other whips. So hopefully I can get, I think this one's the furthest along of all the haze that I have. I really love the soft tones of this. I know the light's not very good in here, but such beautiful soft colours. I think Thomas Kinkade is a really wonderful painter, and no matter what way you interpret his projects, they just always come out so beautiful, don't they? Yeah, so that's Home for the Holidays mini version, and about 52%. This is, I think that's going to look really good up on my wall. Really happy with that. And this is one that's sort of like a secondary can't get my words out today, secondary focus piece, more or less, because I do focus on Riverwalk charm, but sometimes I do get tired of it as well. So I like to have other pieces that are there just to relieve me from the monotony of just doing one focus piece. So there we have it. That's Home for the Holidays by Thomas Kinkade. My first Thomas Kinkade. I haven't done any other ones before. Okay, the next one I want to show you is called Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. I know a lot of floss tubers are doing this particular piece. It's so pretty, and I've seen so many variations in colours. It was so hard to choose a palette and stick with it, because I liked so many different palettes of colour choices. But this one's really lovely, and I ended up going with a sort of bluey green fabric, which is a just a plain Ada, and it's on 16 count. And I wanted one that had a sharp contrast, so it would look very contrasty. So I chose the white, and it looks like very much like a darkish green. And to me, this fabric, it looks green. And to some people it looks grey, and to other people it looks blue. So you tell me what colour you're seeing, because it can be very confusing. And this is where I have gotten to. See if I can pull it in. Can I peer over the top? I might have to stand up here because I can't really see what I'm doing behind the camera. There we go. So I've worked, oh, wrong hand. I've done all this, is it hexagon? I've done all this section here, and I've started going down in the middle at the bottom with the white. Now I'm using anchor thread white because I had a whole big bag of it, and I'm using I think it's DMC 3808 if anyone's interested. And this fabric is called light blue, believe it or not. It's called light blue, although I see grey and other people see green, and sometimes, some days, it looks blue. So, confused much? That's what happens when you buy a very strange fabric. You're not sure what colour it is. But I'm really enjoying this piece, and it's usually my Sunday stitch. I do this one on a Sunday, though I didn't do it yesterday, which was Sunday. Sorry, I'm so confused with the days. Today is Sunday, so I should bring this one out tonight. I'm already saying that I'm not doing things when the day hasn't even arrived, right? So I think I'm going completely cuckoo. Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I don't know about percentages, I'm not counting. I think I'm around 20% on that one. So yeah, my focus piece, the Riverwalk charm. It is charmingly beautiful. I'm still enjoying working on these colours. I have got a huge amount of progress, although on such a big piece it's often difficult to see the amount of progress you've got because it's so big, and any tiny little squares that you do, it's like, oh, I can't notice anything because it's so big, and because the squares are so small. But first I'm going to show you where I've actually made the progress, which makes more sense than actually holding up the whole thing. So let's see if I can show you. Oh my goodness, just look at this. So this is half of the chart, more or less. So my progress, how do I hold this even, has been, I'm gonna have to hold it like this. My progress has been all of this section. So basically all this section here it has been done, and I've reached about 38%. I've also done some down here. Let's open it up again. Some at the bottom where you see there's like a little table and some little chairs. That is extra progress as well. So I'm getting further down. So my aim is to keep working downwards at the moment. I think that's, so I was doing diagonal. I think you might see some other videos I'd gone and done. I'm completely on the opposite on the camera, so it's really confusing my brain. So I did a diagonal along here, and I've kind of just gone and done blocks and filled them in. So I'm just doing row by row at the moment, and yeah, see where it takes me, because I seem to also change my mind with this one. I apologize for having all these threads in the way. That is just the way I work. That is the way I like to work. See, I've got long hair. I do the same with my hair. I just let it hang, like I let my threads hang. I just sort of like to let everything hang out. So I'm just going to open up the whole thing so you can have a look, and I'll stand back. I'll have to stand up for this. So yeah, gosh, I didn't realise it was this big. It's looking kind of dark, a bit dark on the camera. But I've still got a way to go, as you can see. So I like to sort of look at it less as a whole piece and more of as a section by section piece. So I think this area, keep going down here, and then eventually I will tackle this side. So there we have it, Riverwalk Charm by Ruane Manning, Heaven and Earth Design, 25 count, 2/1 tent stitch. Most of my things I do in tent stitch. Tent stitch because it's a little bit quicker, and I really don't think anyone is going to tell once you've got this up on the wall. Absolutely nobody has any idea whatsoever whether this is tent stitch or full crosses. But then again, it's perfectly okay to have your preference. I just don't want to spend 50 years working on it. So yeah, that's why I sort of started it on the tent stitch. Oh, it's all, sun's coming through now. Let's have a look at it a bit brighter. Yeah, I could use it as a bedspread, I think. So there we have it, Riverwalk Charm. And I do have to say, and without, being honest, there are days when I just don't want, like, not frequently, but there are days when I think I I do not want to see these colours at all. I'm going to go for something completely different, like whites or pinks. I don't want to see browns and oranges anymore, and beige. But it doesn't last, because I so love it that, you know, I'm keen to get back to it and keep going. But there is going to be the rare occasion when you just think you've had too much of a good thing, and yeah, you know how it rolls. Okay, so the other one, which I'd started a couple of months ago, probably on a whim, was butterfly ornament. And again, I'll put a picture up on this side. Butterfly ornament. I can't remember who it's by. I'll have to put it down in the description. I think it's Jenna della Grottaglia, another name which you may have heard bouncing around the flosstube community. And this one is still on my Q-snap, because I haven't really seen a point of taking it off the Q-snap, because I've hardly done anything. So I can't remember. I'll put up a picture of where I was last time if I can find one. Not really much progress on this one. Actually, I've written down here how many days in the month that I have picked these things up. So butterfly ornament I have worked on once. So I don't know. It was nice to do a few peach colours. That's all I've got. But I have actually, I'll have to stand up again, managed to get to the crown, which is just there. And this one is being worked, funnily enough, on, oh, my brain is just not working today. It's been worked 1/1 full cross, is it? I'm going to have to check now, because I am not 100% sure. Is that 1/1 full cross? It is. It's 1/1 full cross. And yeah, so because I feel like the 1/1 full cross is a bit smoother than the 2/1 tent. Is a little bit more like tapestry like sort of effect. And yeah, so that's all I've got. But never mind, because I enjoyed what I did. I think I did about 400 stitches on it, or probably a bit more. And yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of variation. So as I said, I'm sticking to 4 or 5 at the moment, more or less, that I am working on intermittently in between the Riverwalk charm. And I really don't have a lot more else to show you. But what I do have is one that's made a surprise appearance after a long time. Now, when I moved house last June, I lost this project, and I was a bit gutted, because it was a very sort of finicky, you know, fussy kind of project with gold metallic threads and stuff, and I was a bit disappointed that I lost it. But you know, moving from one house to another, things will get lost, right? And then I found it about a month ago, and I put it safely away for when I'm next going to pick it up. But I don't know what happened to me the other night. I think I was feeling like I don't want to do any of the ones that I've currently got on my tray. I want to do this one that I'd lost. So I went to get it and out of the box, and I put it in a Q-snap frame, and I did about 2 hours, and I was really happy with that, because I felt like I started something new again, because it had been such a while since I'd stitched on it. And I'm talking about London by Thea Governor. I'm not sure how you say it. And again, on this side, I will put up a picture of this one. And I know some floss tubers again are doing this chart, and it's a delight to see their progress. Some people are doing it on a black fabric. It's a kit. Everything comes with a kit. They can be a little bit pricey. This kit I got from Amazon, from the actual company though, on Amazon, not just from a third-party seller or anything. And I haven't taken it out of the Q-snap at the moment, but this is as far as I've gotten, because you can see from my last video, and if I find that picture I will put it up here. Which way am I going to turn it? So my progress is this, all of this piece. before I lost it, and then when I rediscovered it, I've only just done like this little corner down here. But it has got metallic thread you can't see. I remember this clock was actually a bit of a nightmare to do the metallic threads. It was really crazy, and I think I spent a whole evening on that, and then I had to go outside and get fresh air because I thought my brain was going to melt. And yeah, I'm thinking, don't put it away again in a box, just leave it out just in case I want to pick it up again. What do you think? Because it's so beautiful. Now this one is worked 1/1 full cross, and I think this looks like even weave, like Lugana fabric to me. I think this fabric is 18 count, which is perfectly lovely with 1/1 with one strand. Absolutely lovely, although it's a little bit on the thin side. You can see some of the, what do you call it, fabric, but that's the style. That really is the style. And I think if it was all bulky stitches, because it looks so fine and delicate, I think if we got 2 strands on this over one, because it's not like a full coverage, I think it would be too bulky. I think you would lose that gentle effect that you have here. That's just my opinion anyway. I don't know if other people have done this and done 2 strands with it, or what that looks like. Just going with my thoughts and my feelings there. So because you're adding metallic on the top, you really want to be able to see that metallic, so it's having just 1 strand underneath allows you to have that softness, to keep that soft delicate thing that it has. So I'm working kind of the whole top pages, and then when I've gone all the way along the top, I'll probably start on the bottom. That's kind of how I've been tackling that one, but I really love it. I think it's a lovely piece. And I've got a little surprise as well. After just saying, right, this is totally crazy, after just saying that I've put like 6 whips away for another time, I started a new one. Please don't laugh, because I'm already laughing at myself. Yeah, I'm going to just show you. It's actually not completely a new start, because I did start this one some time back. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and I didn't like the coverage, didn't like whatever it was, how it was coming out. And I think I was, at that time, I had a whole roll of new starts, and so it just kind of got buried somewhere, and then I forgot it even existed. And then I saw the pattern the other day on my computer, because I was cleaning out my computer files, obviously, because I'd bought a new laptop, and I was putting one drive into the, I was transferring all my files, and then this picture came up, and I said, why did I stop doing this? I absolutely love this one. And I'll put a picture up of what it looks like here. Here. And it's by Artisy, and it's called Carriage Park. And I just, like I said, I seem to have a little bit of a thing for contrast, so I love the way that it's kind of shaded. So you've got the beautiful dark, you've got this beautiful skyline, you've got all these lights coming through, all these through the windows and everything, and that's kind of what makes the whole effect. So it's like the whole effect of it is really pretty. Now I haven't got very much done since I started, and I've just stuck it onto a hoop, because yeah, that's all I could find. Which way can I hold this up? It's kind of looking really dark. Let's see if I can hold it up so you can see. So all I've got really is the top left of this section here. That's all I've got done. But surprise, surprise, I've been doing cross country on this one. The reason I've been doing that is to give myself a break from rows and rows, and also because there's a lot of non-confetti, how can I say it, a lot of just 1 colour runs and 2 colour runs, especially around here. This side was a bit crazy confetti, but also it's not gridded, so yeah, I had to frog like 4 or 5 stitches, and I wasn't happy about that, but hey, we've all been there. So that's it, and I think it's not a very big chart. It's like 65,000 stitches or something. Anyway, this one, if anyone is interested in stitching along with me on this chart, or if anybody's doing it, wants to give it a hashtag. I've never given anything a hashtag. I just don't really get into stuff like that. But I don't know, what can we call it? Hashtag Carriage Park, I guess, because that's the name of the chart. Carriage Park Sal. Hashtag Carriage Park Sal. Doesn't matter if nobody's going to join, doesn't matter at all. But if you are interested in doing it, I'm not that far in. I've only done like 3,000. Actually, it looks a bit more than that. It must be a bit more than that. But yeah, not hugely far in. I mean, I've only just got top little corner. And I think I'm going to continue with these. It is 2/1 10 stitch. It's going really fast. I'll tell you, cross country on 10 stitch is super fast, especially when there's not much confetti. You just go phew. Like all this area down here was one color, a lot of it, and I just went all the way down really quickly, you know, and tried not to make a mistake. So really making sure I'm not too tired with this one, so that I can focus and yeah, make sure that it's, because I don't have a grid on it, and I know I should put some kind of grid. The back of my brain screams to me, do a grid, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it later, because you see, I'm not like that. I just kind of crazy. I tell myself to do things all the time, and then I just sort of, you know, leave it until the day will come when I'm going to make a huge mistake, and then I'm going to be so regretting. And there was also, I also got a little stain up here somewhere, which really irritated me, because I was like, no, that can't happen so soon. And I know when it washes and when you frame it and everything, it's not going to matter, but I don't like seeing stains and things on my work. It makes me feel like they feel a bit grubby, or I feel like I've been dirty or something. But it's going to happen, because, you know, you're handling these things constantly, unless you wear rubber gloves or sterilize your hands every time you stitch, especially with a white fabric. Oh yes, what fabric am I using here? I believe this is 22 count. 22 count, and this is 2/1 10th. Perfectly acceptable coverage in my opinion, especially when you cover it up in a frame and you've got it up on the wall. I tested this. I put it way back and don't really see a lot of background inside them stitches, and it actually gives you teeny little bit of extra room in between those stitches, to not have a bulk. A little bit bulky on this area, but this is all smooth around here. Of course, the more stitches you have, the more bulk you're going to get. But when you have that little teeny bit of extra space between the stitches, and you're crossing over a lot, which you do with cross country, I've noticed there's a lot of up and down and up and down and up and down with threads, like pretty far as well. So then I get another color and I go up and down and up and down. This is all crisscrossing at the back. So on a 22 count, it's not much different from 25, and I know that a lot of people would hate that kind of coverage, but I'm totally fine with it, 100%. And it's not much difference between 22 and 25 count, but it does give you that tiny little extra space, so your stitches have a little bit more room to wiggle. When you're doing your stitches, you can get your needle in a lot easier. You get like a tiniest sliver of appearance maybe of the fabric at the back, but again, that's only when you've got a hard light hitting it and you're really looking at it. Like if I look at it like this, yeah, I can see loads of white at the back, but when you've got it up and you've got it on a frame and you've got it, you know, done, all you're going to see is the picture. You're not going to see anything else. Now, I probably wouldn't do 1/1 on anything less than 20 count. Depends on the chart. I might even do 1/1 on 18 count, but this totally fine. So I'm thinking maybe I would consider, because I have tons of this fabric. In fact, I think I've got a whole load of it in here. Is it this one? Yeah, I have like a great big, this is where I cut it off from. So I have a great big bolt of it, of the 22 count. which I think I found in a charity shop actually. Look how much I have of this. Look how much I have spare. And I think I got this in a charity shop for like pennies. And then I figured out that it was actually 22 count, not 25. And it's just that little tiny bit bigger than 25. The holes were just teeny weeny bit bigger. And I've compared it to a 25 as well. So yeah, it's good to consider. It's good to consider things, to have consideration for them, because at the end of the day, I find, especially with cross stitch, is that a lot of time it's compromising your taste between what's going to be easier for you to stitch, etc. So sometimes you might say, well, if I really hate and I'm not enjoying stitching when my needle doesn't go pierce properly and there's too much bulk, why put yourself through that, you know, for the sake of just a teeny bit of coverage difference? I wouldn't do it. I want to compromise between, so that I'm enjoying the actual stitching progress as well as the final result. So balancing those two together, because if I'm not enjoying the stitching journey, which is, as you know, a long time, I'm not going to finish it, and I'm not going to enjoy while I'm stitching on it. And no, not doing that any longer. I'm not killing myself or doing things just for the sake of trying to do them just to please anyone or just to get it done, because some people say, oh, I put up with this just to get it done. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You need to do things that make you happy, right? Things that are joyful, or just no. So with that said, I think that's all I've got. Has been mentioned, someone mentioned on my channel, what happened to Sad Fairy? Well, yes, I still have Sad Fairy. Sad Fairy's still in the picture, but she is not in the picture at the moment because, like I said, I can't concentrate on all of them. But I do have her just here, and I can give you another quick view of her. Don't worry, this one is never going to be completely UFO'd because I've put too much work. The ones that I UFO'd are the ones that were too big and that I hadn't passed the 10%, I think, or I hadn't got quite to the, or maybe even to the 5% mark. Those are the ones that I couldn't continue with. But Sad Fairy, perfectly fine. I'll hold her up again so you can see. Again, sorry about crazy threads. There she is. And she will come back. She will come back, and I'll probably try and finish. Where's my fingers gone? This side. Carry on. I'm sort of doing diagonal with this one. Again, she's a regular chart, and she's on 25 count, and this is the DMC fabric, which I ordered one time because I couldn't get the I can't find my words today. I couldn't find this one. There seemed to be a shortage at the time, and I think it was during COVID, during the pandemic, when there was a shortage everywhere of fabrics and everything. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I really need to start this chart and I don't have a fabric. So what do I do? So I went and I said, oh, I can get this fabric instead. It's a very sort of softy fabric because I washed it. I washed it whilst I started stitching it because it was so stiff, too stiff for me to get into my Q-snap and everything. So I washed it and I made it nice and soft. Not too soft, but soft enough that I could not get that sort of scratchy, plasticky feel. This one is actually the DMC one that has the red squares that are marked in 20 by 10 grid boxes. Is it 20 by 10? 10, 20, 30, 40. So I think you can get 400, is it 400 stitches in a box? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the red grid one. And I washed it because I didn't like working with that grid either. So I took off the grid, I washed it to make it a little bit softer, and I kind of preferred that. So yeah, sometimes we have to experiment with our stuff to see what works best for us, because it's a long journey of discovery as well. Like 2 years ago, I would say I didn't have a clue what my real likes and dislikes were until I'd been working on things for, you know, a protracted period of time that I could say, this is my definite preference, or this isn't my definite preference. So if you're a newish stitcher and you haven't done Heaven and Earth designs before, don't be afraid of experimenting and grabbing different fabrics and trying different amounts of strands and things, because you will, you know, that's the only really way to find out what your preferences are. Unfortunately, you have to go through that. You have to go through that funny stage of things being annoying because you do them and then you find out you spent 3 or 4 days on something that you don't actually like, and like put it aside and think, oh, I hated that, I have to start and try something different. But you know, we all have to go through these, unfortunately, phases of discovery, which can be a little bit crazy. But anyway, I do think that is what I've done. I'll just quickly show you how I've been marking things. I'm not, because I can't really cope with the whole, I've tried so many times to mark how many stitches that I have done a day, but then sometimes I look back at my diary and I haven't recorded anything for 5 days, and I think, oh, I'll have to go back into Pattern Keeper and change the date setting to go and get that information again to update my record. And I just think it's just being a pain for me, really, because at the end of the day, at the end of the month, it doesn't matter to me if I've done 6,000 stitches or 10,000 stitches or 2,000 stitches. So I just think, oh, why am I spending so much time writing down all these figures for, and trying to remember to write down the figures? I know some of you, I'm not going to name, even personally, I know some of you that really love the whole getting the calculator out and working out how many stitches going to do a day and how many they've done at the end of the month. That is fantastic. I wish I was that organized, but I'm not, clearly not that organized. So what I've done, what I really want to know is how frequently am I working on something, and how infrequently. That for me is the key information that tells me whether I've done a really good job on a piece or a really bad job that month. Not that it's going to make a difference at the end of the month, because I might still continue that way, but at least it gives me an idea of what I've achieved with which whip. So to make it really simple for myself, all I did, when I've scribbled all over this now, so it looks terrible, but all I did was write down my whips here and days of the month here. So I've got July 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the end, and all I do is when the first of the month or second of the month, that I just ticked the ones I've picked up. So as you can see, Riverwalk charm here, I have picked up a lot of days, because that's the main focus piece. Then the next one, between Riverwalk charm, between Home for the Holidays and whatever's underneath that, that's the new one actually, Carriage Park. I've been working on that one as well as Riverwalk charm. I dropped Home for the Holidays somewhere in between here. I probably got tired of the confetti. So this big gap is confetti hell days. That's what that means. Confetti hell days, which means I didn't want to work on it. Same, and with Carriage Park down here, I thought, ooh, I must have been really busy around this part of the month down here, because I only did 3 or 4 days of one of them. Then I've got, what have I got here? And then Fruits of Plenty, a good week in the month. And my butterfly ornament I picked up once. There it is, one solitary sad tick. But you get the idea. I think if any of you are not really into doing the numbers and you just want to see, you know, more or less what your progress is on all of your whips, just list them and just tick off. All I do is like, okay, today I worked on this one and this one, tick, tick. It takes me 2 seconds and I don't have to think about numbers. It's not exactly hugely relevant information, but it says to me that I've, you know, if I want to like go in August and say, well, I'm going to continue on this vein and maybe I'm going to drop so much time on this, you can think of it like that, I guess. It's kind of helpful in that way. And then maybe next year, or goodness knows when, I'm going to start introducing some of the other ones that I've got that I put aside. Like I said, the London one, I introduced back in just because I saw it again on my laptop and I said, why did I drop this? I love it, love it, love it. And I was thinking I wasn't having such a great evening, and I needed a little sort of boost. And you know when you need that little boost, so you go into your stitching stash and you're like, it'd be such a boost to either work on something that I've said I'm not going to work on, but I really love, or I'll just start one of the charts that I already have. And that just gives you that little boost, so you can distract yourself completely from whatever horrible things going on around you. Completely ignore it and forget it happened or is happening, and you can sit in your corner and just get on with this new piece or whatever, or new start. Yeah, I totally, I'm very good at sort of being sensible now, because I've been doing it for 4 years. I've been doing these, and I've got a bit more sensible about new starts, and just, I just want to get progress. But I will fall into that hole every so often, because I'm only human, and I will fall into that hole, and there will be occasional new starts, even if I don't need them. I don't care. But, as long as for me it's occasional and not every single day, because for me, every single week is just a bit too much, too overwhelming. Although I love people that can just keep rotating loads of things and they're just so happy with their journey, completely fantastic. But yeah, I get overwhelmed. So find your you, find the way you do things, and don't be afraid to change it as well. Don't be afraid to, if you decide on something on a Monday and you find you don't want to continue that on Wednesday, don't continue, just do something else. So that's my little bit of advice. This hair's driving me mad again. I feel so, I don't know, like not organised or tidy today. Sorry about that. It's been great to connect with you again and to update you on everything that I've been doing. I always enjoy when I get a chance to do that. I'd like to be able to do it more often. Obviously, I'd like to be able to come here and chat to you more often, and I just wish I had more progress more often so that I could be able to do that. I would be able to do that and come and chat to you more often. It would be really nice. But anyway, I'm not going to take up your time anymore. If you've got this far, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, God bless you all, and I hope you stay safe, and let me know in the comments what you think of my progress so far, and what you think about the way I'm handling things at the moment. Does it look like I'm doing well? So anyway, guys, take care, and I will be back very soon again to connect with you. So I hope you have a lovely rest of the weekend, and take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.